You need a website, and you know it's important that you get one. In fact, you've always kind of known that this internet thing was not just going to be another fad. You probably use the internet regularly, and I'd venture to say that if you're watching this video today, in all likelihood, you're an avid user by now. If this were 1998, hey, that might be a different story. But have you ever wondered why having a website is so important to your business? I mean, you're smart enough to realize that most businesses today have their own company websites, and that people go to these websites to research the company, to get connected with them, and in many cases to buy stuff right there on the spot, right? That makes sense. My name is Nick Kavanis, and I'm the CEO and creative director at a company called Adwebvertising. Now, a big part of what we do daily involves website design and marketing. I've developed a series of videos with three primary objectives in mind. The first is so that I can help you to understand how people just like yourself are making more money and getting in front of new customers online every day with the help of their website and marketing efforts. My second objective is to do this in a simplistic way so that it makes sense to you. And my final objective is to simplify all of it so that I can earn your business. But what I hope to do in today's video is give you a deeper understanding of the revenue earning potential that your website can have for you. It's one thing to have a website that kind of serves as an online business card, but if you really want to maximize your potential of gaining new business through your website, there are some things that I want to share with you that go a little bit deeper than simply saying, well, I need a website because people in business have websites these days. And so today, we're going to look at some really neat things that you may have kind of understood, but never really had explained to you in a way that makes sense. For some of you watching today, this may be new and novel. You might hear some terms that you've never heard before. Relax, I'll do my very best to explain it to you in human terms. And still, there may be some of you watching today that have a deep understanding of why a website is so important. But hopefully you'll stick around because, hey, you might learn something new. So let's begin by talking a little bit about what a website is. Now, I'm not speaking in terms of code, aka nerd language, such as HTML, PHP, JavaScript, and the like. It's sufficient for us to know and understand that websites are made up of code, and that your browser translates those into web pages for you to read. But what I'm referring here today is a little deeper than the superficial use of the word website. Let me explain. Did you know your website has the potential of being your #1 salesperson? It's true. Your website, when built correctly, has the potential of reaching more prospective customers than your human counterparts can. Not to knock your salespeople, I'm sure they do an amazing job. But your website can be positioned in such a way that it can be seen by every actively engaged consumer looking for your products and services on any given day simultaneously. Not only that, but your website is a sales representative that does exactly what you tell it to do. When built correctly, it doesn't send mixed signals. It can guide a prospective client through an effective process that leads them to the point of decision consistently and every time. But if you're like me, a business owner, you'll appreciate this. Your website never gets sick. It doesn't need any vacation time. It never feels burned out. It doesn't cost you any payroll taxes, and you don't have to send it out for continuing education programs. It's never late for work, and I love this. It doesn't make excuses. In fact, your website can be your online ally, advocate, the face of your business. Now, when I was growing up, there was a shampoo commercial that used to come on TV, which was put out by this company called Pert. And their slogan was, Pert, because you never get a second chance to make a first impression. Now, I like that because for many businesses, their website is their primary and sometimes their only opportunity to make that invaluable first impression. If you have a quality built website that's aesthetically pleasing, easy to navigate, fully functional across multiple devices, including smartphones, tablets, laptops, desktop computers, and now even smartwatches. And it's built in such a way that it's attracted to the search engines like Google, Yahoo, and Bing. Well, then the impression that your website can make on the potential customer who visits your website can mean the difference really between ringing up new sales or writing down losses. Research has shown us that upwards of 97% of all consumers use the search engines like Google, Yahoo, and Bing to help them make a buying decision. Now, of this number, 65% will use the company, product, or service that they found online. People nowadays are more likely to research a place where they want to spend money online before even getting in the car to go and visit. And in many cases, consumers are researching your business right now on the fly using their mobile devices. And so the days of simply having a website are in the past. In today's internet savvy world, your website needs to work for you in ways unlike any other time in history. If you want to capture your share of the market, keep your existing customers, and become recognized as a viable candidate for business, your website has to meet the consumer at their point of need. Here's something you may find interesting. You've always known this, but you never really thought about it intently. Here it goes. You ready? We're all consumers. You don't say. Well, what I mean by that is even business owners buy things. And so let's put our consumer hats on for just a minute and think about how we buy things. Some people buy things that they don't need with money they don't have to impress people they don't really even like. Ask my wife, she'll tell you. Some people buy things that they really need and when they really need them. Some people research a product or a service, they plan and they even budget for things that they want or need. And still, some people will buy things to satisfy a perceived need or want on the fly. But whatever the motive behind buying things, we all have this one thing in common. We're all influenced by different kinds of media, depending on where we are in the buying cycle. And so what you have, really, when you boil it all down to the essentials, is really three kinds of consumers. First, you have what we call a disengaged consumer. We've all been there. We're not actively looking for a new set of golf clubs, that new J.W. Anderson Pierce leather handbag. Don't judge me. No, seriously, I had to look that one up. But disengaged consumers aren't looking for anything in particular. In other words, they aren't shopping for new tires for their car because the ones they have on their car are still pretty good. You get the point. Still, disengaged consumers are influenced by media all the time. Things like television commercials, radio ads, billboards, and the like. They're all over the place and they're hitting us from every direction, leaving their subliminal branding in the back of our brains. These kinds of advertising are designed to do just that, to build brand and name awareness. I like to brag on one of our advertisers here in the Houston metro area where I live, a guy by the name of Jim McInville, who we here in Houston affectionately refer to as Mattress Mac. Now, growing up, we used to see this guy on the side of the interstate in what looked like a giant circus tent selling furniture. Now, over time, he's built an empire called Gallery Furniture and has amassed a net worth of over $75 million. And if you were to go up to anyone that's lived in the Houston area for any length of time, say, Gallery Furniture really will, and just kind of pause there expectantly, chances are good they'll complete the sentence for you and say, save you money. Well, that's because over the decades, Mattress Mac has effectively seared his brand into the minds of Houstonians through his television commercials, through his radio ads, and through his billboards. Now, that doesn't mean that if I see a Gallery Furniture commercial, I'm going to run right out and buy a mattress every time. But when I do need a good new mattress, chances are great that I'll be visiting Gallery Furniture. Now, the second kind of consumer that we have are called passively engaged consumers. They're looking, they're planning their next purchase, they're researching, kicking tires, if you will. And they're influenced primarily by print advertising, your direct mail pieces, your door hangers, magazines, newspaper ads, and the like. To give you a real life example, my teenage son used to be the best lawn guy ever. On Saturday, with a little prompting, motivation, bribery, and then ultimately threats, I could get him out there to mow, edge, blow, and go. The yard looked fantastic, really. But every week, like clockwork, I'd come home to find a door hanger on my front door from a local lawn guy. And I'd think to myself, this dude would have some serious competition if my son ever decided to go into the lawn business. And then I'd promptly file the door hanger under T for trash, right? I mean, that's what we all do with those things anyways, right? Well, as it happens, boys grow up and become men, and before long they get shipped off to South Korea to serve in our armed forces. And we're really so proud of him. He's a great kid. But the days go by, we're excited for him, a little apprehensive about him being so far away from us. Then weeks and months go by, and we start to miss him and look forward to his return back to the States. By this time, the grass is up to our knees, right? And we're like, son, please come back soon and mow the lawn. But seriously, you can bet that I was waiting with eager anticipation to receive that door hanger again. Now, you might be saying, come on, Nick, why didn't you just go out and mow the lawn yourself? Because I live in Houston, Texas. It's hot. Are you crazy? No, but seriously, my wife likes to mow the lawn. Just kidding. Anyways, we did end up hiring the guy that left the door hangers. We were passively engaged, but then when the time came and we needed the services, his media helped us make that buying decision. Now, here's a little secret for you if you do this kind of advertising. Be sure to do it frequently and hit the same customers over and over again over a period of time. And always have a strong offer, a call to action. We call it a what's in it for me, a with 'em. Now, the third kind of consumer is what we call the actively engaged consumer. These kinds of consumers may literally have a phone in one hand and a credit card in the other. They need something and they need it now. They're most likely going to be influenced by the internet. They're going online and Googling companies that have exactly what they're looking for when they need it, and they're doing business with them. These kinds of consumers have the shortest sales cycle and, generally speaking, are more regular than customers influenced by other mediums of advertising. Now, you'll recall earlier that I stated that 97% of all consumers use the search engines to research products or services prior to making a purchase. Can you see now how being online and in front of actively engaged consumers at the moment that they're ready to buy can have a positive impact on your business? It just makes sense. Your website has the potential of reaching these kinds of consumers every day. If your website is designed in such a way that it guides the actively engaged consumer to a buying decision with relative ease, well, then you've just increased your opportunity to grow your business. And here's the best part. Your website costs less than any other form of advertising out there. And when you boil down your ROI and you're looking at your return on investment, your website actually has the lowest cost per customer acquisition than all other forms of media combined. While having a diverse media mix is ideal, it's plain to see why your online presence deserves a lion's share of your advertising budget. But having a website doesn't mean that you'll have instant success either. The fact is, your website has to be built in such a way that it enjoys ranking on the search engines. Think about it. Most of us use Google, and when we're looking for a product or a service on Google, we rarely, if ever, have to venture onto the second page to find what we're looking for, right? In fact, they say the best place to bury a dead body is page 2 of Google, and that's because no one would ever find it. But it makes sense. Why spend time on page 2, page 3, page 4, when you can find exactly what you're looking for on page 1? And the way you get to page 1 has a lot to do with your website, how it's built, what kind of content it has, and a whole host of other factors that fall under the heading of what we call SEO, or search engine optimization. And that, my friends, will be the topic of our next video. But before I leave you today, I want you to know that I'm available for you to answer any questions that you may have about websites and marketing and the like. In fact, if you'll visit our website at www.adwebvertising.com, I have a free ebook which I wrote called Everything You Need to Know Before Building Your Website. Now, this ebook has some very useful information that'll save you time, money, and quite frankly, your sanity. So check it out. I'll include a link in the comments section below. Listen, thanks for watching. Be sure to like or share this video if it helped you out in any way, if you like the content of it, and we'll see you again next time. Again, my name is Nick Cavanas, CEO of Adwebvertising. It's like advertising, only better. God bless.